Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing fine. Today I am going to talk about the Victorian period of England. I have previously made several videos on various poems of Victorian period. I hope this video will help you to understand various works of Victorian period better. This will be a general overview of this period, the popular beliefs and the various important genres, as well as the various important authors. Let us look at the timeline of the Victorian period. Victorian period was actually the time when Queen Victoria was on the throne of England. The Victorian period started in the year 1837 and it lasted till 1901. When Queen Victoria came on the throne, the idea of the divine rights of the king was not there anymore. Why? Because of the Chartist movement of 1832. So what is Chartism? Chartism was a political movement which was active from 1838 to 1857. It was the movement for social reform in Britain. This was the time when petitions were signed by various people all over the country and sent to the House of Commons. People revolted against the idea of only property owners being able to cast their vote. So the People's Charter called for 6 reforms. Number 1, voting rights for all the men who are at least aged 21. Number 2, a secret ballot for protecting the elector when he is exercising his own vote. Number 3, no property qualification to become the member of the parliament. Number 4, payment of members to compensate their livelihood. Number 5, equal constituency, securing equal representation. Number 6, annual parliamentary election to stop the corruption. So this was the time of constitutional monarchy. What is constitutional monarchy? This was a system of government in which the country is ruled by a king or a queen whose power is limited by a constitution. This is the age of popular education and religious tolerance. But at the same time, this was the age of political unrest. Why? Because it was the time when slavery was abolished, but the exploitation was still a reality. On one hand, we see that there was massive growth in the fields of science and mechanical development. This was the time of telegraph as well as the steam engine. We can see an immense boom in the economy of the time. This all came at the cost of colonies. In the colonies, the people were severely exploited. But how was literature affected by all this? If we look at the literature of the time, we will see that there was concern for morality, and at the same time we see that in literature reformation and questioning as well as conflicts are present. The conflicts were not only the conflicts between the rich and the poor. The conflict was now the conflict within the soul. Optimism and pessimism, faith and disbelief. 2 books came out during this period which changed the total outlook of the people towards various things such as religion, society and economy. These 2 books were The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin, published in 1859, and another one is Das Kapital by Karl Marx, published in 1867. These 2 books were as influential as the Bible. The Origin of Species is a scientific inquiry of the cause and evolution of mankind. Darwin is considered to be the father of the theory of evolution, and because of this appearance of this book, the idea of Genesis in the Bible was questioned. The book Das Kapital by Karl Marx was another important book of this time. It was a negative critique of the capitalist economy. very much in tune with the movements going on around the world. These were the movements of equality. The rich and the privileged people have always oppressed the poor, downtrodden, and the needy people. But before this book, people used to think that this oppression by the rich people was as a natural thing. After coming out of this book, people started to question the thing they used to think as natural. Darwin and Marx made people realize that they don't have to accept oppression as something natural. They can question it, because these books made humans realize or look at various concepts such as God, the oppression, the king and the queen, and society in general in a new light. On one hand, we see that this is the age when there are massive growth in the fields of science and development. And on the other hand, it was a time when people really suffered through the greatest anxiety. The intellectuals felt that it was a compromise. There was a double standard going on. On one hand, there was a glory, and on the other hand, the individuals were suffocating. This is known as the Victorian compromise. Here we see the philanthropy and oppression at side by side. If we talk about various genres of Victorian period, we see that this is the time when there are the development of novels. Usually all the ages are marked by one popular genre, and novel was the most popular genre during this time. And there are varieties of novels and various ways of writing novels. So one of the major figures in the field of novel was Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was a journalist in his career. He looked at society from a different light and identified the feelings of society. The way he presented the society was truly amazing, and he had a great sense of humor, because he knew that without humor, engaging the audience was quite impossible. His novels were mostly published in installments, sometimes weekly and sometimes monthly, in various periodicals. And if we look at the dates, we will see that all these novels were published within the course of several years. Let us talk about the important works. One of his major novels is Oliver Twist. This is a detailed picture of the society of that time. We see that the questions of child labor in the city is mentioned. It focuses on the kind of darkness the children had to face. Another major novels of Charles Dickens was David Copperfield. This was mostly an autobiographical account. Here, Dickens is talking about Dickens himself. Other novels are Bleak House, Sketches by Boz, and Hard Times. In Hard Times, we see Dickens is not focusing on any single individual. Here we see the philosophy of utilitarianism. And what is utilitarianism? Utilitarianism is a theory founded by Jeremy Bentham. It prescribed actions to maximize the happiness in human life. Modern utilitarianism began with Jeremy Bentham and was continued by John Stuart Mill. Dickens' stories are mostly stories about individuals placed in society. At the same time, it is stories of society as a whole. It is as if the individual having an effect on the society and the society having an effect on the individual. We see a lot of philosophical inquiries in Dickens. We see he's questioning the economical progress about which the English people were very proud of. English people were proud of and ashamed of at the same time, and this duality is presented in almost all of his novels. His other novels are Great Expectation. This is the story of Pip, A Tale of Two Cities, A Christmas Carol. Another important novelist of this time was William Makepeace Thackeray. The Victorian compromise is seen in his novels as well. He revived the satirical genre of Alexander Pope. He was born in Kolkata. One of his major novels is Vanity Fair. This is a novel about Napoleonic War, and it is at the same time the critique of the society. This is a novel without a hero. Here's another important novel is The Luck of Barry Lyndon. Another important novelist of this time was Anthony Trollope. He was a civil servant, and his major works are Kelly's and O'Kelly's, The Chronicles of Berkshire, and Castle Richmond. This was a time when women novelists gained popularity. The major women novelists were the Bronte sisters, Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, and Anne Bronte. The major novel of Charlotte Bronte was Jane Eyre. The major novel of Elizabeth Bronte was Wuthering Heights. It was a tragedy, and it was a story which was never told before. And one of the major novels of Anne Bronte was The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Here she talks about broken marriages and domestic tragedy. Other women novelists include George Eliot and Mrs. Gaskell. You must be thinking that how George Eliot is a woman novelist. Well, most of the women authors of this time adopted a male nom de plume. They have done it in order to publish their work without any hassle, as well as to promote the male readership of their writings. Also, they wanted to publish their work without any bias or prejudice that they were women. We see that the Bronte sisters also took up the male nom de plume. Charlotte Bronte was Currer Bell, Emily Bronte was Alice Bell, and Anne Bronte was Acton Bell. George Eliot wrote an article, Silly Novels by Women Novelists. Here she talks about how the women novelists of contemporary time did not have the ability or maturity to take up and deal with complex forms as novel. So to avoid being criticized and categorized as one of the novelists she was criticizing, she did not want to let people know that she was a woman. In Dickens and Thackeray, we see that the women characters are quite flat characters. But the women novelists made women figures, women characters as a well-rounded characters. This was the time women as independent thinkers were coming in the picture. Before this time, women were considered mostly as Belinda, all looks, no brain. Let's talk about George Eliot. The locations of her novels were very realistic. The major novels are Middlemarch, Romola, Daniel Deronda, Silas Marner, and Adam Bede. She does not talk about heroic people. She talks about ordinary people in unusual circumstances that demand some action out of them. She talks about the need of heroic action in an unheroic age. In Romola and Middlemarch, we see that women trying to find their calling are rejecting various approaches like religion and love. But eventually they find disappointment. Though they face disappointment, they don't stop seeking. They still keep on seeking. So this was a new approach. So there was the emergence of another kind of genre. It was the fantasy genre. We see that a new kind of world is created where magic is present and where various other creatures are present, where we see talking animals as well. So fantasy literature may be directed as children as well as adults. One of the major figures in this kind of literature was Lewis Carroll. His major novels in this field is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. These were the best novels in the fantasy genre. These were one of the best works in the fantasy genre. Its narrative and its imageries and characters, they have an immense influence on the popular culture. Fantasy is not an escapade from the realism. It is rather a return to realism in a different way. It is a realism which is more brutal than the realism of Dickens. A different genre which is related to fantasy literature was also coming on surface. And what was that? That was the science fiction. These are often speculative fictions which often deal with futuristic concepts such as advanced technologies, space travel, time travel, extraterrestrial life, etc. One of the central question is about time. How we can conquer time and how we can manipulate time. So naturally, when people were writing science fiction, this was something that affected their mind, and they employed their imagination to answer these questions. So if we talk about science fiction, we have to talk about H.G. Wells. He is generally credited the concept of time machine. He was the first person to talk about using a vehicle to travel backward or forward in the time in some selective years. The term time machine was coined by H.G. Wells, and it was universally accepted as the time traveling device. Time traveling genre is related to fantasy. The reason could be the nostalgia or yearning for the past. So on the face, the people were very proud to be Englishmen or English women, but inside they had a beaten of anxiety. Why this anxiety? That they knew that they were being cruel to other races and to different kind of people. But still they had to be proud. They had to retain the face. That is why they wanted fantasy, a new world. So if we talk about a new world and we don't talk about the American literature of the time, that cannot be fair. So this was the time a new world was emerging in America, which also saw a lot of works produced in English. Various popular names in American literature of this time are Nathaniel Hawthorne, Edgar Allan Poe, Mark Twain, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, O. Henry, and Walt Whitman. In 1841, Edgar Allan Poe brought a new kind of genre altogether, and this was the detective fiction. He started this detective fiction with his work The Murders in the Rue Morgue. The first detective in the literature was C. Auguste Dupin. Later on, Arthur Conan Doyle was inspired by Poe. This new kind of literature was more in tune to the modern ways of life, the modern ways of thinking, a very fast-paced literature. Let us talk about the last phase of the Victorian period. If we talk about the last phase of the Victorian period, we have to talk about Thomas Hardy. So when Hardy started writing, the effects of Darwin's Origin of Species and Karl Marx's Das Kapital settled in. So we see that there was a general gloom, a general pessimism all around. So in his novels, we see that a general pessimism is there, because he believed that he should reflect whatever he saw around him in his novels. He was more like a regional novel, and his novels were mostly based in Wessex. He is known for his tragic vision, but there is at the same time a cosmic indifference. The major works of Thomas Hardy were The Return of the Native, Jude the Obscure, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Far from the Madding Crowd, Tess of D'Urbervilles. If we think that, what about dramas of this time? This was the time there was little or no drama written. Why is this lack? Because it was associated with the Victorian values and codes of family. There was a queen on the throne, and that queen was a representation of an ideal woman. So people focused on the ideas of manners and morals, on words and behavior. It was the time when individual liberty faced great oppression, and the economic stability brought personal oppression as well. This was also the time when the regulation against homosexuality was passed. One of the major Irish playwrights and novelists faced this consequence was Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde in his works showed the social realism. He talks about transgressive ethics. He does not pass judgment. He talks about a society that does not want to show moral responsibility in oppressing other countries. His major works are The Picture of Dorian Gray, Salome, The Importance of Being Earnest. The Ballad of Reading Gaol was written when he was in prison charged with homosexuality. In Dorian Gray, we see he opposed the hero worship. Let's talk about the poetry of this time. We see that this was a time people were opposing Bible, and on the other hand people were questioning and having doubt while opposing the Bible. When you associate morality and literature, certain compromises need to be made. Then the authors cannot have spontaneity and artistic honesty. That triggered the aesthetic movement. What is aestheticism? This was started by Walter Pater. It was a movement where it is said that art is for art's sake. Artist does not have a moral responsibility to deliver a moral message. So this art for art's sake is represented by the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Who are the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood? This Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood is a group of poets and painters who wanted to go back to the intense color and abundant detail and the complex compositions of Quattrocento Italian art. This brotherhood was formed in the year 1848 by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. They rejected what they thought as mechanic approach of the Mannerist artists who succeeded Raphael and Michelangelo. The brotherhood believed that classical poses and elegant compositions of Raphael as corrupting to the academic of teaching art. Hence, the name of the brotherhood was Pre-Raphaelite. The people associated were Thomas Woolner, D.G. Rossetti, C.G. Rossetti, Elizabeth Siddal, A.C. Swinburne. They said that Aesop's fables were not their goals. They did not want to preach through their art form. So we see a lot of romantic elements present in their art. They are the poetic counterparts of the fantasy fiction. They were reacting against the poets like Tennyson. Let's talk about Alfred Lord Tennyson. He was known for his lyricism. His major works are In Memoriam, Ulysses, Timbuktu, Crossing the Bar, The Charge of the Last Brigade, Tears, Idle Tears, The Idylls of the King. In Memoriam is an elegy. It is a series of long poems after the death of one of his closest friends. And we see a lot of doubt and discomfort within this. In Ulysses, we see the two kinds of worldviews are present. Ulysses as well as Telemachus. Ulysses wants to discover the world and Telemachus represents the Victorian values. I have made a detailed explanation video on Ulysses. I will give the link in the description below. Tennyson focused on expression more than innovation. Another major important figure of Victorian poetry is Robert Browning. He has found a whole new way of expression. He has introduced the dramatic monologue in poetry. So there was little or no drama within Victorian period, but drama still found its way in other genres like poetry through Browning. His major works are Pauline, Paracelsus, Sordello, Men and Women, Dramatic Persona, and The Ring and the Book. Here we see, in Browning we see poetry within the speech, and the characters he introduced are sometimes weird. They have committed murder, or they wanted to kill someone, or they want to have everything. We see someone who is lost and disoriented. Another important figure in poetry is Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Her major works were Aurora Leigh, poems, and sonnets from the Portuguese. She was more popular than her husband. She was popular because of her innovation and her dealing with complex psychology. Another important figure in Victorian poetry was Matthew Arnold. His major works, the direct expression of Victorian conflict, can be seen in Matthew Arnold. His major works are Dover Beach, Empedocles on Etna, The Scholar Gypsy, Rugby Chapel, Shorab and Rustam, etc. In Dover Beach, he talks about the lack of religious belief, but also he talks about the trust one person can have on another. Here we see that one person cannot trust everyone because this is a broken world. In Scholar Gypsy, he uses the expression the strange disease of modern life. He looked at society as diseased. He was inspired by the words of William Wordsworth, but he was unable to create the Lake District of Wordsworth. The world around him was polluted, both literally as well as figuratively. There was the development of non-fiction writings in Victorian period as well. In the genre of non-fiction, the major names were John Ruskin, Thomas Babington Macaulay, Thomas Carlyle, Walter Pater, William Morris, John Henry Newman, Henry Edward Manning, and Richard Jefferies. There is a lot of ethical concern. The way they deal with the culture and the classical age show that there was a disappointment with the age they were living in. Did not have answers. They saw that people were scared of change, people burning the books. It was a time when it took a lot of time for Ibsen to be staged in England. Ibsen was a Norwegian playwright and his plays were not staged until 1880s. Why? Because people were not ready for Ibsen. After Ibsen, there was a kind of reality in the drama on the stage. Foucault wrote about this Victorian age. This was the era of extreme repression and hypocrisy. Here there was no place for individual development. England was not ready to talk about the new women until George Bernard Shaw talked about it. So the major question we can ask after we saw the development and the genres of this time, that why literature was associated with morality. This was the time Bible lost its significance because people started questioning Bible. So literature kind of replaced Bible. That's why literature was associated with morality, because people wanted to know how to live, how to behave. So of course there was a lot of emphasis on using literature as a teaching vehicle. So I have tried to cover the major elements of Victorian period, the time, the genres and the important authors. So I hope this video will help you to understand the time, the Victorian era, and also help you to prepare various literary works of this time. For more videos like this, keep an eye on my channel and give this video a big thumbs up. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.